Wrestling is built on larger-than-life characters, heroes, villains, and everything in between, but sometimes, reality hits too hard to ignore. Whether it's tragedy striking mid-show, an unscripted accident, or emotions that even the best performer can't hide, there are rare moments when the act completely breaks. ECW was wild even by wrestling standards, but this moment, it went way too far. In 1996, Raven and Sandman were locked in one of the most personal feuds in wrestling history. Raven had brainwashed Sandman's own son to turn against him. Already a disturbing story, but during the high incident show, things crossed the line. Raven and his followers tied Sandman to a wooden cross, arms stretched out, and even placed a crown of barbed wire on his head. It wasn't entertainment anymore. It was uncomfortable. The arena fell silent, fans looked disturbed, and even the locker room was furious. The backlash was so bad that ECW management forced Raven to walk back out in front of the crowd and apologize, completely breaking character.
Apparently, Todd Gordon and Paul Heyman, by acting without their knowledge, are offended at my use of religious iconography. And apparently I've offended quite a few people in the audience. Well, you people chose to respect Scott Levy's privacy when I needed a personal time, and so I choose to respect your privacy and your religious beliefs. And so for the people who I deeply offended, I apologize.
During a 2015 episode of Raw, John Cena was stuck in a 3-on-1 handicap match against Seth Rollins, The Big Show, and Kane. Triple H was ringside, keeping an eye on the chaos, until something unexpected happened. An 8-year-old fan in the crowd started chanting Triple H's name over and over again. Staying true to his villain persona, the Game turned around and yelled at the kid to stop. But the moment the little boy's face dropped and he started crying, everything changed. Triple H immediately broke character. He went over, spoke gently to the child, and assured him he wasn't really a bad guy. Later that night, he even invited the kid backstage, gave him free WWE merch, and took pictures with him. During a live episode of WCW Nitro, Raven and Kanyon were in a tag match against two luchadors, simply named 4 and 5. Everything was going smoothly until one brutal move went horribly wrong. Raven and Kanyon attempted a powerbomb neckbreaker combo, but their timing was off when 5, whose real name is Villano, landed directly on the back of his head. The moment it happened, Raven dropped his act completely. The sarcastic, cold character disappeared. You could see the panic in his face. He immediately rushed to Villano's side, holding his neck steady, calling for help and refusing to move until medics got there. The crowd went silent. Everyone knew something was seriously wrong. Thankfully, because of Raven's quick reaction, Villano survived what could have been a career-ending or even fatal injury. Chris Jericho is one of the most respected veterans in wrestling, a guy who always delivers in the ring. So when he suddenly shoved a referee and got himself disqualified in a match against Neville on Raw, fans were stunned. It seemed completely out of character until the truth came out. Jericho wasn't angry. He was trying to end the match as fast as possible. Neville had suffered a serious injury mid-match, and Jericho, realizing something was wrong, took control of the situation.
Oh, no, wow. No need for that. Oh, the official had no choice. Yeah. This whole AJ Styles thing, now that he's shoving officials, you can't do that.
By forcing a disqualification, Jericho made sure Neville got medical attention immediately, proving that in WWE, sometimes winning doesn't matter. Protecting your opponent does. On September 10th, 2012, during Raw, something horrifying happened at the commentary table. Jerry the King Lawler suddenly collapsed mid-broadcast, suffering a legitimate heart attack while calling a match. The show immediately shifted focus away from commentary, and Lawler was rushed backstage for emergency treatment. Michael Cole, Lawler's longtime commentary partner, had no choice but to break character on live TV, explaining to the audience that Lawler was in serious condition.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to preface this by saying that this is not part of our entertainment tonight. This is a real-life situation. Earlier this evening, my broadcast colleague, Jerry the King Lawler, passed out while working here at ringside. He collapsed on the ground. He was stretchered to the back where he received CPR. This is an extremely serious situation, and Jerry, my friend, my prayers are with you.
Daniel Bryan was known for his underdog spirit, and no fan embodied that fighting spirit more than Connor the Crusher, a young boy battling a terminal illness. Bryan completely dropped his character to spend time with Connor, sharing laughs, making memories, and treating him like part of the WWE family. But the most unforgettable moment came when Triple H, WWE's top villain at the time, also broke character. In a heartwarming scene, Triple H let Connor pin him, allowing the young fan to have his own WWE moment. When Connor passed away, the entire WWE locker room honored him, proving that some things in wrestling are more real than the show itself. The Undertaker is known for never breaking character, but on the first Raw after WrestleMania 24, he made an exception for someone special, Ric Flair. The night before, Flair had his final WWE match against Shawn Michaels in an emotional showdown that ended with Michaels picking the win. On Raw, WWE aired a tribute to the Nature Boy, with superstars stepping onto the stage to give him one final ovation. Then in a rare moment, The Undertaker, still fully dressed in his Deadman gear, came out, removed his hat, and hugged Flair. For a character who had spent decades avoiding any signs of emotion, this was a huge deal. It showed just how much Flair meant to him, and for one night, even the dead man had to let the real Mark Calloway shine through.
My real name is Joe, and I've been living with leukemia for 11 years.
On October 22nd, 2018, Roman Reigns stepped into the ring to open Raw, but something felt different. There was no Shield entrance, no tough guy demeanor, just Roman, standing in normal clothes, looking serious. Then he dropped the bombshell. Reigns revealed that his leukemia had returned, and he would have to step away from WWE to battle the disease once again. The normally loud crowd fell completely silent, and in a matter of seconds, the boos that had followed Reigns for years turned into a standing ovation.
My real name is Joe, and I've been living with leukemia for 11 years. And unfortunately, it's back. And I'm gonna have to relinquish the Universal Championship.
After his speech, Reigns walked up the ramp, where Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose met him, openly emotional as they embraced their brother. Randy Orton is known as the Viper, one of the most ruthless wrestlers in WWE history, but at Survivor Series 2016, he showed a rare moment of pure compassion. During the match, Shane McMahon took a brutal spear from Roman Reigns and was knocked out cold. His son, who was sitting ringside, was visibly shaken, watching his dad lay motionless in the ring. That's when Orton broke character completely. Instead of staying focused on the match, Orton walked over to the kid, put his hand on his shoulder, and reassured him that Shane was going to be okay. For a man who usually plays the coldest heel in WWE, this was a side of Orton that fans rarely, if ever, get to see. One of the darkest moments in wrestling history happened at Over the Edge 1999, when Owen Hart tragically lost his life due to a failed stunt. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, who were calling the event, had to deliver the most heartbreaking news imaginable to a stunned audience.
This is not a part of the entertainment here tonight. This is as real as real can be here. We're here to entertain and have fun, but this is neither.
No, it doesn't look good at all.
Usually, Lawler played a flamboyant, over-the-top character, but that night, all of that was gone. He had just seen his friend suffer a fatal accident, and there was no way to act normal. Jim Ross, always the ultimate professional, had to hold himself together as he informed the audience that Owen had passed away.
I have the unfortunate responsibility to let everyone know that Owen Hart has died. Owen Hart has tragically died from that accident here tonight.
Later that night, The Undertaker had to step into the main event, but this wasn't the same Deadman fans were used to. You could see it in his eyes. The usual cold, unshakable stare was gone. Behind the darkness of the Phenom, there was a man who just lost a brother in the business. As he stood on the ramp, preparing for the match, fans caught something you almost never see from The Undertaker: emotion. He stayed in character because that's what professionals do, but for a few seconds, the mask slipped. It was a haunting moment, a reminder that even legends who seem larger than life still carry the weight of grief like anyone else. One of the most infamous real-life moments in wrestling history happened at Survivor Series 1997. Bret Hart was leaving WWE for WCW, and Vince McMahon wanted him to lose the title to Shawn Michaels before he left. Hart refused, wanting to drop it on his own terms, but WWE had other plans. Mid-match, Vince McMahon ordered the referee to ring the bell prematurely, making it look like Bret Hart had lost, even though he hadn't tapped out. What happened next was 100% real. Hart spit in Vince's face, wrecked production equipment, and later punched McMahon backstage, officially ending their working relationship for over a decade. Even fans who believed wrestling was scripted knew one thing that night: Bret Hart had just been robbed on live TV.
I reached around to grab Shawn's leg, and I could hear someone say, "Ring the bell." That's when I knew it was Vince McMahon. I finally realized that they screwed me. They really screwed me, the lousy bastards.
On June 25th, 2007, WWE had planned an entire episode of Raw around a fictional storyline where Vince McMahon had died. But before the show aired, the real world took a horrifying turn. Chris Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their son Daniel were found dead. WWE immediately scrapped all storylines and replaced Raw with a memorial show honoring Benoit. Vince McMahon himself appeared in an empty arena, breaking character to confirm the tragedy. Of course, as details emerged in the following days about what really happened, WWE quickly distanced itself from Benoit. But for one night, WWE wasn't about storylines, it was about real emotions.
Tonight's storyline was to have been the alleged demise of my character, Mr. McMahon. However, in reality, WWE superstar Chris Benoit, his wife Nancy, and their son Daniel are dead. Their bodies were discovered this afternoon in their new suburban Atlanta home.
For years, Bret Hart refused to set foot in a WWE ring again after the Montreal Screwjob, but in 2010, after 12 years of real-life tension, Hart finally returned to WWE and stood face-to-face with Shawn Michaels. Instead of keeping the rivalry alive, both men broke character and embraced, officially burying the hatchet in front of the world. It was one of the most genuine and emotional moments in WWE history.
We've had a great career. We both accomplished so many things. I think it's as good a time as any right here and now for you and me to take this opportunity in front of all these fans right here in Dayton and all around the world and take this moment and say that we could be friends. So I offer my hand to you in friendship.
Becky Lynch had just reached the peak of her career, holding the Raw Women's Championship for over a year. But when she found out she was pregnant, everything changed. Instead of making it part of a storyline, Becky dropped her character completely, walked into the ring, and tearfully handed her championship to Asuka. It was a rare real-life moment in wrestling, and even Asuka, who was supposed to be an over-the-top character, broke down in tears. No matter how scripted WWE may be, there are moments where real emotions take over and the show takes a back seat. Whether it's tragedy, respect, or unexpected emergencies, these are the times when wrestlers had to be real people. Which moment hit you the hardest? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more wrestling content. Thanks for watching and catch you on the next one.